nothing going on.
I got a notification saying that we were streaming.
Okay.
Was it...
The Moose Machine Network says it's streaming, but not PG Semi-Automagic.
I just got a thing saying PG Semi-Automagic is live.
Okay. Maybe it's good now. I didn't do that.
Accept him as a friend.
Accept.
There we go. Yeah, see, there was nobody on the chat. Now there's people on the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
Something was going on there.
Something wacky was going on. All right, there we go.
Was that the right button?
I think so. Hopefully.
Is that Dylan?
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the stream. Hopefully, sorry about the late connection. So a few of the fans have not figured out that we're broadcasting. We should actually start telling people on the internet again that we do this thing on Wednesday night. People forget. That's okay. This is really just an excuse to record our podcast. So we will be going live at 8, which is only a few minutes away. Tonight we have the one and only Matt, Mr. Golden Deal, known on the boards as Mr. Golden Deal. He will have answered some of your questions, and we're going to be talking about the Southern Ontario Open because he is one of the fine people that organizes it. I think according to Tim Banky, he does the lion's share of work. Not sure.
Well, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do some things.
Does a few things, and then we'll be talking about the focus tonight's going to be cool because we're going to talk about interactions, which is probably the hot button topic when it comes to what a judge has to do. Because I'd say 95% of the times that a judge has to step in is when there's a bizarre interaction that is, the cards don't just lay clean, if that makes sense.
Or on the rules forum, 90% of what a judge does is argue about model conversions, apparently.
apparently. Well, yeah, because inevitably...
So I've got these bases.
They're clear.
But they have round lips. But I made them myself. But I got them from PP, and they might not be exactly the right size.
My favorite is when people do that. They're like, this is my conversion. Is it legal? And there's like 5 people that say no. And then somebody just goes, yeah, but... nobody's going to care. Just like, are you planning on going to Lock and Load?
Are you good enough to be on the stream with Privateer Press?
Exactly.
No, it doesn't matter.
But let's argue about it anyway.
Oh yeah, that's what we do on the internet.
That's what we do. It's the internet. I literally somebody put something up. Oh, I put up. Will Ace be usable with Kane 2? I just left that open
with
on
Kane
the
3?
With Kane 3.
He's
sorry,
totally usable with Kane 2.
So I left that wide open. Like I just threw that question out on the mercenary thing, and you could just tell there was like 5 people that were like, "I want to argue on the internet," because they were like, "Who cares? Ace sucks anyway." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fair. You can say," but I didn't respond to anybody because I was just like, "Okay."
So just to be clear, Sturgis does not have a character jack.
No.
So this has never happened before.
It has, but
who?
The Morrowind caster, Connie B, but her jack is partisan.
Partisan.
Yeah.
So that doesn't come up.
The theory is that Ace will also Ace's card will be updated to become partisan as well. Just to keep continuity, because Ace's, if you read the fluff, Ace is out there too. Ace isn't still working with Signar either. He's not hanging about the Signar army,
pining for the fjords,
pining for the boss man. So. It's entirely possible that he could...
I love the fjords.
The fjords. You're always pining for the fjords.
It's
not dead, he's just sleeping.
Yeah.
Welcome to the cast, everybody. Mr. Belak's on. Nice.
Hello, Belak.
Mike is back. Is he back from Texas?
Bilak's back.
Bilak's back from Texas.
Crack-a-lack.
And no more...
Does Bilak hands down?
Are your pants down, Bilak?
Does he have hands?
Oh, hands down.
What?
Sent him a World Wrath, but forgot to ship the hands with him.
Yes, I heard about that, Matt. I heard about it. He was just cursing up a blue streak. No, he wasn't.
I don't know. He's no
trying to find log bits that I forgot to put the hands in there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 2 minutes out. Stay tuned.
Captain
Grab your
Stumpy.
friends. Tell them to come and join us. We have fun things to talk about. And
like Captain Stumpy?
Not just the Amazeballs beer that we're drinking this evening.
Well, I better finish mine so I can get more.
That's right. Chug-a-lug. Chug-a-lug.
Chug-a-lug-a-lug-a-lug-a. So what are you guys going to drink tonight?
My bar trick used to be chugging an entire pint of Guinness,
Uh-huh.
and it was fun.
My bar trick was drinking all the beer
Yes.
and passing out.
I would like to point out to any younger viewers we might have that go to bed. Do not listen to this podcast.
We do have that explicit rating for a reason.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you recording? Did you press the records?
Start the recording. Recording.
Recording has started.
Sweet.
We are now recording
probably-
locally.
All right.
Should I hit the button?
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Sortilege.
Sortilege.
Oh, I had some of the what is it? Cream sortilege.
Ooh, cream sortilege.
Sounds good stuff.
Lilac, if you ever have sortilege, you're just automatically invited. Well, your sortilege is automatic.
Automatically invited.
You
Just
and
set
your
a
baby.
bottle and put them around at the door.
Yeah. You can, just knock
Okay.
quietly.
Now's the time. Hit that button.
Recording live from the E. Haley Memorial Studios, straight out of Almont, Ontario, it's time for This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, your one and only weekly Warmahordes news broadcast. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night, the beers are cold, the news is fresh, and the death clock starts now.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Death Clock. I'm excited. I'm super excited. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It's an exciting week here at the table.
You're just excited because one of the Black 13th took it in the face.
Oh, and made an opening for my favorite caster to step in. We'll talk about that a little bit later because we're just going to stop the cast at one point, and I'm going to wax philosophical about how great Kane 3 is going to be. And how he's going to shoot you in the face.
Yep.
You cheaty bastard. Okay, so before we get started, I got to introduce everybody. Tonight's guest on the panel is the one and only Mr. Golden Deal. Introduce yourself, Matt. Tell us who you are.
My name's Matt Clark. For those who don't know me, fairly active in the Southern Ontario Open. Currently in Buffalo-ish area, but I've gained a lot more in like the Greater Toronto area. I'm a privateer press judge and press ganger and world traveler, I guess. I've been to 2 WTCs as a referee. I did the Solo Masters the year before. I've done a lot of international travel for Machine too, so you might see me from there.
And if you go in the forums and you have a question, I want to give a shout out to Matt because I don't think most people realize Mr. Golden Deal is generally one of the first people that will help you out. I don't know, you must spend half your life on the forums, but
I mean, I have a lot of time to kill at work, so
fair enough. So I mean, I've had several of my questions answered, and then one day I met Mr. Golden Deal, and I was suitably impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little starstruck right now.
It is a hive of scum and villainy, as they say, that PP forum.
Yep.
So
that is also.
it's always good. It's always good to get some sane, rational voices around the place.
If you want to think that this game is dying, go spend some time. No, I'm just kidding. The game is strong, everybody. The game is live. We in the Ottawa meta are growing exponentially.
So in the last 4 months, we have not had a tournament that has not had a wait list.
Yeah, exactly.
And the wait lists are often in the double digits.
So if you think that this game is suffering, you got some problems. Or you're
living in the wrong place.
Oh, yeah, your meta just needs to... Hey, we've had people specifically move to this meta.
The guy moved from Italy into this meta.
Just to be part of it. All right, I need to introduce my co-hosts here. Over on my right, your left, is the one and only Maelstrom.
right.
Maelstrom sitting on the boards,
I'm
keeping
here.
everybody entertained.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, there's lots of people tonight. You're going to have to be super entertaining.
Well,
And
you
they
guys
can't.
may have to avert your eyes.
They
at some
can't tell
point.
that you're not wearing any pants. And
I can. I'm sorry.
I know. It's disturbing. Then the person on my left, your right, is the one and only PG Semi-Automagic.
Hello, everybody.
Does not answer your question on the board, mainly because
fuck no.
he does not
I
know
might
the
be
answer.
right.
Well, you spend a lot of time on the PG forum starting arguments, I hear.
Oh yeah.
That's about it.
I try and stir the shit as
You're
much as
just
possible.
commenting on clear bases all the time.
They're great.
They're great.
Use them.
You know how hard it was to not comment into those threads? Oh my God.
I bet. I'm glad. I mean, love you guys for being PGs. It's super awesome. I like organizing. I'm looking forward to organizing a couple tournaments in the near future. But I am glad I stay. How do you say that? Incognito.
Unofficial.
It also lets me say the crap that I say and act like I know stuff. And when I'm wrong, they're just like, nee.
He's just some guy.
It's just Mifgorax. He doesn't know shit. So we do have a couple things, a little bit housekeeping before we get started.
Yeah, I like
our friends, Vicky,
Housekeeping.
Nick, and Dylan from
Vicky,
Crooked
Nick, and
Mile.
Dylan.
Vicky, Nick, and Dylan.
I like saying that. That's
I do
fun.
too.
Vicky, Nick, and
Vicky,
Dylan.
Nick,
Vicky,
and
Nick, and
Dylan.
Dylan from Crooked Mile Brewery sent us this week, in honor of the new Troll Blood book, we're drinking the Standing Stone English IPA, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited.
What?
That'll also work for the Circle book.
Yeah. Well, we'll drink it again for the Circle book.
Except we'll never find it because it has stealth.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible. And and George brought us chocolates, which is nice. And of course, Matt's sitting at home with nothing. He's like, "You guys, where's my bottle of beer?" So
I could go on, but it's probably not a good idea in the middle of a podcast to do it.
no. So I'll let you pour
what
those
we need to do
maelstrom.
is get the Crooked Mile guys to start drop shipping beer to our guests.
Yeah.
So these people are going to be on the podcast next week. We need
That'll
you
be
to-
cheap for them.
Oh, yeah.
That's For podcast for this little War Machine podcast
Yeah,
shout out.
exactly.
They're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll drop it. Anyway, I want to thank those guys.
On drones.
Also, want to give a shout out to Dylan, who I found out today is a bomber commission painter in the Ottawa area. If you're looking to
yeah.
get some stuff painted, he advertised quick and cheap and up to snuff, and he's great. Dylan's actually quite a good painter. You can check him out at Miniteur Painting. So that's MINITAUR Painting. It's
Hyphen
on
TAUR.
it's on the Facebook, so you can go check that out.
It's like Minotaur.
Yep, and along with all of our friends who are commission painters, if you want your stuff painted, there are some great commission painters in the area, guys like Ben and Dylan. So check those guys out. Also, I believe PO is doing a little bit of commission painting now too.
White Knight, I believe.
White Knight, yeah. All right, so check those guys out. But first things first. That one's.
You can let me finish pouring.
Yeah, we
first.
got to pour that.
I
We're
want to
gonna
make
give
sure
this
these
little
get a
try.
good pour. I'm not going to just slam it in there.
Oh, look at that! This is fine podcasting right here.
Yeah,
when we
When
so
we
we gotta
hand
take.
around the beer and food.
So for people just listening, sorry.
So I would give this. It's brown.
Mm-hmm.
Smells like beer.
let's
Yep.
we'll do the beer machine thing.
The beer machine thing.
I was going to just say that.
Yeah. So let's act like the beer machine guys. It's beery beer.
It's got
It has a-
I should probably drink some first.
Odor of beer.
Smells like beer, and it has some kind of hops in it.
Oh yeah. So
It's a liquid.
I admittedly have consumed a lot of this IPA. I love it. The nice thing about a new brewery is they're still going through some gestation, if that makes sense. Like they're figuring out their recipes, and I think their IPA is one of the most solid. Although I do really love last week's beer as well.
Oh yeah, this has a chocolatey afternote, but that might be the chocolate.
That might be the
we're
chocolate that you just ate. So I want to give a shout out. One last thing. If you're in the Ottawa area and you want to support a brewery that supports gamers, particularly miniature gamers, go check out Crooked Mile Brewery. They're in Elmont. They are awesome. Secondly, if you could do everybody a favor, and on our Facebook page, there's a link for a poll.
Yeah, we'll pop that up to the top.
We'll pop that up to the top again for tomorrow when this podcast goes out. I want you to go there and vote for Crooked Mile. We may as well. Everybody else is using their internet clout to get their numbers up. We're going to help Crooked Mile get their numbers up. So go there, vote for Crooked Mile, and
all that nerd clout.
Can
I'll
we
give-
vote more than once?
I did.
vote from all your different devices.
Okay,
So
perfect.
go from device to device.
Good.
So they're I think they're running up on 6th or 5th place now. So
Yeah.
we want to help them out and get them a little bit closer to that. So get on that, help them out because they support us. Hopefully we'll get some beer. We're going to bring a couple of pints with us to the SOO.
Yeah.
So the next thing we need to talk about is this week's news. We'll wait for the top one here. We'll go down. I want to let Jason talk for a little bit. He doesn't get to talk much. Jason,
You don't let me talk much.
new Legion Warlock.
Yes.
Tell us about the man with 2 rib cages.
Callus 2, who is coming out, I would assume, sometime soon after the command book.
Typically, they're about 3 months out on the website. So
Cool.
March.
Sounds good. From what we know from the little store blurb that's included with the 3D render, he has Overrun, which is awesome. and Battle Lust, which is also incredibly awesome. So for those lovely Weapon Master units that we already have, the Swordsman rolling 5d6 on a charge is going to be a lot of fun.
I won't lose any jacks to that.
That's 40K numbers of dice.
Yeah, that's
Or
pretty
just
fun.
turning like Legionnaires or Grotesque.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, basically even just our regular units are going to be worthwhile.
Turned up to
Turned
21.
up to 21, baby.
You also got a chance to see the new Legion character Beast, which is
Right.
for your new caster.
Azrael, yeah, for Carissa, a bond with Carissa that I believe Carissa gives him Cloak of Ash, or Ashen Veil,
Ooh,
Ashen Veil as a bond. There was some talk because it's mentioned that he has a POW 17 spear. There was some talk that maybe that's because he has Prey also, so a POW 15 goes up to 17.
That would
Oh,
make
cool.
sense.
But it's been...
I mean, I think it's probably just going to be POW 17.
you think
yeah,
it's just going to straight up
it
17?
was pretty much confirmed by PPS Will, that it is just base POW 17 Throne Spear
Goddamn.
with Reload 1.
God damn.
I mean, if you had Prey on top of that, it'd be kind of ridiculous, because
Yeah.
Chris is +3 strength, which would add to the damage.
Oh, it'd just be insane, yeah.
So, you've got things like Parasite Infaction. You've got Draconic Blessing for +2 strength.
Yeah,
which also-
Legion's not lacking any strength buffs. So yeah, he's probably going to be throwing at P+S 19 regardless of
Mhm.
most
Black
guys.
Rushard for the
Black
yeah, so,
Rushard for
yeah.
the 21 and
Well,
Critical Smite. He's also got Critical Smite,
oh, man.
and I believe he's got Continuous Fire
Sweet.
as well.
Well, yeah, even in the picture, it's got them all, like, the
Yeah.
spears are all flamed
The
up.
spears
so.
are all on fire. So
So let's talk a bit about command books. The Troll command book dropped this week. We just saw the preview that the Legion command book is coming, so
March.
it's the next down the pipeline as far. Well, that we know that there's going to be more than that.
yeah,
Matt, you were saying you're pretty sure that they're going to have to publish all the command books by when?
I think they were talking about their goal to have them all lock and load, but I mean, that would result in them doing at least 2 per month in like the last months.
Right. So let's talk a bit about the response to the Troll command book. I think, so here's what we're saying. It was a bit of a lackluster response. First off, the reason for that lackluster response, if anybody's doom and glooming about what they're waiting for, it's first off, everything in that book was all of the pertinent information, the new beasts, etc., new caster, had been leaked 3 days before.
Well, it wasn't leaked per se. I mean, well, it was leaked, but it wasn't leaked by Privateer Press. It was, someone who had an early copy of the book just posted it online from a retail distribution or whatever.
I would say it was leaked, not spoiled.
Yeah, not spoiled, but that was I think that first made it a lackluster response because everybody had sort of seen what was coming. We already discussed it last week that there was a few people upset at the cost of the new Gargantuan, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm not sure they didn't like it. It might have just come as a bit of a surprise because it's so expensive.
Right. I think so. Let's talk about lowered expectations. What happened was, and we talked about this in the pre-ramble, is people were expecting this to be a game changer for Trolls.
Yeah. I think people were, because the theme forces that we had seen up until now were like Kingmaker and Exelon's theme force and stuff like that are a little more powerful. They were kind of thinking that maybe Trolls would get a similar thing where they would be, the power level would be brought up on them. Whereas what I think we got was something more akin to what I feel the original idea of a theme force was, which is a new and fluffy way to play your army.
Right.
So for fluff reasons, these are the things you have access to. And for fluff reasons, here are the extra bonuses you get. And what they were hoping for was your army now better.
Yeah. All right,
It also kind of gave people options for models that were previously unplayable, like extra rune shapers from Runes of War, and people who bought into Family Reunion and had a bunch of champion units. Like something kind of threw them a bone too.
I didn't get a real good. I play Trolls a little bit, but I didn't get a really good chance to delve into what the theme force could do. Maybe Matt can answer this a little bit better because you've probably invested a little more time looking at it. What does this theme force offer the Troll player really?
Okay, so there's two theme forces that got released in the book. One was the pseudo EE Runes of War kind of replacement called, I think it's Children of Dunya, which is basically anything that has magic attacks like the Northkin Shaman, the Dunyan Knot, and Rune Shapers, and then just non-character beasts. So it gives you one free solo or a group of whelps for every 25 points in War Beasts that you have. So it's not the same sort of, take things and then get a discount for the things you were already taking kind of theme lists. It's, limit your list to these things, get a cool bonus as like an extra.
Right.
So it's not as easily abusable. So it gives you some pretty significant benefits if you're willing to restrict yourself, because it is one of the more restrictive theme lists. First off, it makes Rune Shapers FAU, which for anyone who has like 5 units of Rune Shapers from the Runes of War days, that means that you can outplay that with that list if you want. It gives you +2 threshold on all of your War Beasts, which is good because some trolls have really, really awful threshold, like 7 or whatnot. So it makes playing a bit more beast heavy, a bit more reliable without necessarily needing to invest in Fury control, like a chef, which you can't take anymore. So that, kind of balances out. The main thing, though, is that it lets you start with all of your upkeeps in play. So that means you can, you don't have to cast any of your upkeeps, and then you can just dump a whole bunch of Fury into the stone turn 1 and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the game, instead of the normal kind of dance where, like, you have 2 or 3 upkeep spells that are, 4 to 6 Fury, and you have to juggle between, okay, am I going first or second? How much can I safely afford to put into the stone now versus later? Like, you just get to dump pretty much your whole stack into the stone, like top or bottom of 1, and still have all your upkeeps out.
Which is pretty badass, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And the other theme force, what does the other theme force sort of offer?
It's called Band of Heroes or something like that. It's basically all the melee infantry. You can take like Creel Warriors, Fenblades, Creel Stone, Long Riders, Champs. Its benefits are kind of hit or miss. The cool things are you get 2 extra inches of deployment, which is big, especially for a pretty much all melee force. You get, for every 20 points in Warders or Champions or Long Riders, you get a free solo. So you can get, free Fell Callers, which are 5 points. So take 20 points, get 5 points is a pretty good, sort of trade-off for things that you probably wanted to be taking anyways. The other benefit, which is kind of weird, is all warrior models get takedown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's interesting because of the interactions. Like some of the models do other things when they kill a model, and takedown suddenly kills that off, right?
The Fenblades lose cleave effectively. The champions lose overtake when you take Scaldy with them. Crucially, Madrak 2 basically doesn't have Rathdrock's Awakening or a feat anymore.
So,
because all the models Berserk and Overtake, and both of those rules trigger on Destroyed and Box for move from play at removes from play at Box for takedown. But I mean, in a really tough heavy meta, like if you're playing someone like Risk 2 where everything is tough and everything is steady, like that saves you a lot of frustration. So I could maybe seeing it be worthwhile. You just can't bank on those abilities that you like. If you wanted cleave, like don't take the Fenblades, like take something else that doesn't have it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing, guys. So to go back to what we were saying, when you have somebody like Matt look at a theme list and he looks at it a completely different way, I think as Fraser also has said in the chat, it just takes time. When Kingmaker first came out, I think the initial response to Kingmaker, which is hilarious, is a few of the experts who played a lot of mercs were like, this is awesome. And a few people were just like, trenchers? Nobody plays trenchers. You know what I mean?
That there's Mark II thinking.
Yeah, so there's a lot of doom and gloom that happened when because if this is the way the theme forces are going to be, they're all going to suck. But then it ended up being an amazing theme force, and it's basically meta bending to a certain degree for a Merc player now. Suddenly you're seeing Magnus 2 on the table. I mean, he's always been a good caster, but you're seeing him in everybody's pairings. So this is the thing. Don't doom and gloom yet. Let's let the top players disseminate how good these things are. Try out your theme force. You might be able to be the one that comes up with the meta bending list that makes those theme forces great. You just don't know. As we've learned, sometimes
and watch for model releases that suddenly make theme forces amazing.
Yeah. Well,
Because,
Northkin Fire Shaman, or Northkin, the Northkin Shaman, for example, all of a sudden everybody's running out and buying 2 of them.
Yeah, Denny 2.
Yep.
Her theme force sat on a shelf for how long?
Yep. So other things that happened this week is the new plushie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Death River. Death River.
There's going to be people that are like, plushie, that's dumb. But
That's cool.
yeah, I hate to tell you
They're
this.
awesome.
We all
Cool.
kind of like plushies.
We should get the
I
3
have
of them, one for each.
Pretty sweet.
We all can't help ourselves, especially if you've got children. To give your children a Death Ripper is pretty
To
awesome.
make an excuse for.
Yep, exactly. Skull Island released a book in the last little while. It's their first in the series of pirate books,
Ooh, yeah.
and it just happens to be about Shay, which is kind of awesome for me.
Because you might be playing
Because I
Shay
might be
a lot.
playing Shay nonstop right now.
Constantly.
I wonder if that signals Shade 2 coming out, because Mark of Cain came out, and then in that book, they have the spoiler for Cain 3, so...
Careful, Matt.
God,
Will's going to have a
I got
heart attack over
Now
there.
I'm not wearing pants. So that's the last thing we need to talk about in this whole list.
Yep.
Funny enough.
So,
Yep.
Let's talk a bit about Kane 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'm super, super excited.
I heard something like that.
Well, first off, the Black 13th, I've said this before. The Black 13th was the reason I got into War Machine. We were
Those
sitting
tiny little models.
those tiny. Well, the idea of the Black 13th, I painted up my first list in black and gold so that they
all look like Black 13th.
They all look like Black 13th. It was like the whole black and gold theme going on until then I figured out how to paint, and then I did some other colors. And then the fact that the fluff I was super excited about because it was a good story, and they've proven with the last Kane book that nobody is safe. There's no longer nobody
Your
dies.
plot armor is gone.
Plot
Not a
armor.
work master.
Not
safe.
But and then and now we've got this really. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be so cool. Hopefully Kane lives up to the hype. He generally does. I don't know
I
any.
mean, it's hard to go along with Calamity, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. So I'm super stoked about that, and I can't wait to have Kane as a Merc caster. I'm hoping, as the discussion on the boards on the Facebook page was this week, I'm hoping that they alter Ace's card as well to make Ace Partisan, or according
just say he can take Ace.
he can take Ace. Well, the other thing that's interesting is according to the rules, as long as it's in a theme force, if you read the rules, I mean, I could be wrong. Actually, Matt might be able to answer this better. Theme forces say that if you have a bond with a Jack, you can take the Jack even if it can't be taken normally. Does that mean if Kane's in a theme force, Merc theme force, he can take Ace?
I don't know if that overrides the overall restrictions about, it says Signar, or it would say, like, it would have to be a Merc theme force that could take Kane,
Right.
in theory, but, I guess all of them can, so never mind. Still thinking of Mark II a little bit, but I don't think that necessarily overrides, like, the fact that Ace is a Signar Warjack.
Right.
Because, Constance Blaze gets around it by her Warjack also being partisan.
Yeah.
So, barring some sort of rule on Kane's card that says he can bring Ace in a mercenaries army, I'm not sure if that works, but I'd have to delve a little bit deeper into the book, which I don't really have right now.
We tried to disseminate the rules to figure it out, and there's general arguments on the internet, and nobody's really come up with a definitive
Right.
answer. I think we'll leave the news behind because we can talk about Kane 3 more. If you guys just want to talk about Kane 3 tonight,
No, let's move on.
No, I'm good.
you guys you sure you don't want to?
I'm
Do you want to
strangely
talk
good.
about how you cheated viciously in our last battle, or
Flying jacks do not have steady.
yeah, which meant my freebooters were
I think
just eating your jacks.
We're gonna have to turn this into a new weekly segment. How did George?
How did
cheat
George
this week?
cheat this week?
Absolutely.
We'll just call it read your card.
Read your fucking
Read your
card.
fucking card, George.
All right, hit the button.
Focus!
All right, tonight's focus, and this is really because we've got a judge on board today. We admit to not really understanding how the rules in this silly game work.
I admit to not getting even the basic rules
yeah,
right.
do
You admit to not even reading your
your
card.
cards.
There are cards? This is new.
I did have pretty models, then I go pew pew, and you die. And
Yeah, but you don't die.
so tonight's focus, we're going to talk about Mark III's interesting interactions and how to resolve them. The reason why this came up, of course, is because I was playing Acosta this week, and we were trying to figure out how the dodge riposte interaction works, which is right on the card, and it's confusing because they're both slightly worded differently. But we're trying to figure out whether you have to do the riposte after the dodge or whether you can make it happen in any order. We read the back of the book, and it wasn't really, we went through the order of operations manual, and it.
We should mention that because I'll bet a lot of people have never looked at that. So if you go into your PDF or if you've got one of those little books that came in your battle box with you,
Page 1991, I believe.
yeah, go right back to Appendix A, and it is called timing. And if you have read your cards like 4 times and it still doesn't seem to make sense what order what happens in or when this thing happens, this set of like 3 pages will basically
It's trying to solve
do
that, yeah.
all of that for you. So it tells you whether the hit comes before or after when you apply damage,
Yeah.
or when you decide if something's been hit, or when something that is triggered on hit happens before or after damage is taken, that type of thing.
Yep.
And basically it's just 2 pages of first this, then this, then this.
Yep.
And basically you just take the 2 things you're trying to figure out and just read through 1, 2, 3, 4 until you actually get to the trigger that you're looking for. And
Yeah.
that will tell you where it happens in the time.
It's I think it's good rule of thumb. I think the first thing it's worth reading through a few times and trying to lock some of the information into your brain. It is literally just 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the hardest things in the world to memorize. Let's go to Matt and really get his. Let's go deep, Matt. Let's talk deep. Since Mark III's hit? What are some of the strange interactions that you've had to deal? Sort of help out with judging tournaments or in forums.
I think at this point, one of the weirder things is the change to how melee ranges and line of sight works. In that, because of the way that melee range is worded, in that your melee range extends X number of inches around, like from your base, but then engaging is defined as within your melee range and your line of sight. It's been clarified by Infernals now that your melee range actually extends 360 degrees around you. So before, where the whole, if you are in your model's melee, like if you're charging a model, once your model gets into melee range, you can't leave melee range, which in Mark II meant that you basically couldn't charge past a model, or if you had flight or acrobatics, to the other side of a model, because, you're not facing them anymore, so your melee range was sort of understood to be the 180-degree arc of your front arc, unless you had special rules. But now, because it extends 360, you can charge on these weird oblique angles so that they're still in your melee range, but because, even though they're not in your line of sight, because once you end movement, then you turn to directly face. So you can get some weird charge angles now that a lot of people get kind of hung up on.
Now, I think the thing that most people mistake a lot of the time is that this doesn't mean you don't take free strikes.
Correct.
This just means that it is now possible with models that are somehow ignoring it, or if you just want to man up and tank the free strike, you can now charge to weird places if you have that ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the hardest things for me, especially to wrap my head around. Just, I'm just so used to like my automatic responses. No, you can't charge here because you're leaving melee range, but I have to remind myself, no, they're still in melee range, just not engaging right now.
Yeah, right. And that one of the interesting intricacies of that particular rule is you can never charge directly over top of a base that is larger or the same size, because you actually will leave the melee range if you exactly overlap the base. Now, that is... when it's the same size base, that's mostly theoretical, because I've never seen a charge line that was exactly from one middle to another middle. But if you're, say, a small base attempting to charge over a large base to get into their back arc, it is quite possible that your base will pass within the large base, suddenly leaving its melee range, because a model on top of another model is not in its melee.
Confuses the hell out of me.
Yeah, because the melee extends from the edge of the base. So now this is the thing. We're talking about weird ass interactions.
Right.
Oh, does the gunfighter gunfighter reach problem still happen in Mark III? Where if you've got gunfighter, you've only got half an inch, and a reach model can engage you, and so you can't shoot them or melee them?
No, it now says that gunfighter can make attacks against models that they're in melee with, which is engaged or engaging.
So interesting.
Yeah. So now if someone has a pole arm, you can shoot them from 2 inches away, even if you only have half-inch melee. Which always seemed kind of silly to me, but,
Guns all gained reach.
Now is the change to how gunfighter charges work.
Oh.
Because if you charge a model using gunfighter, you have to make your initial attacks against models in your melee range.
Mm-hmm.
So now if Kane charges, like, say, a steelhead, kills him with the first initial, he can't make his second initial against a model outside of his melee, even if, like, if you only charge one model and now you're not in melee with anybody, you basically just lose that shot because you have no models to make attacks against.
Oh, I see. Because you have locked yourself into being a melee attack this round, and you're not buying the extras, the second shot is melee as well, and therefore doesn't go off.
Well, you can buy extra attacks, which is the other weird part. Like, you can buy attacks, and then if you're not in melee,
but your initial's gone.
Your initials, yeah. So that's a little different, but other than that.
So from a judging perspective, let's say a weird interaction comes up at the table. The two players have given you the points, etc., etc. How do you as a judge sort of disseminate the difficulty, and how do you quickly come to a ruling on a bizarre interaction?
Okay, so I'm just going to sort of walk through like my sort of troubleshooting, flowchart that I use.
Perfect.
So when I come to a table, I always get both players to explain to me what they think the issue is, because I've had a lot of times where someone would, say one thing, but what they're actually getting at is something different, and without actually seeing the models on the table and hearing both sides of it, getting to the heart of what they're trying to ask me can be difficult sometimes. So I always, try to go to the table, see what the situation is, ask both players what their version of what's going on is. Then, even if I know how the rule works, I'll ask to see a card, or I'll pull up on my war room, double check what the word says, what the card says, and what the wording is, just so I have something to refer to. Then, part of being a judge is, trying to keep up to date on rulings. So I troll the judge forums and the PG forums and the rules forums on a fairly regular basis, just to keep myself sort of apprised of things. So if I happen to know that that's been ruled on, then I'll, try to find that ruling, using a Google search or whatever, like trying to find the thread that I'm looking for. If it hasn't come up or I can't find it on a thing, I still have to make a decision. So, if it's a really sort of contentious rule that I'm not sure about, I'll attempt to, check with some of the other referees or judges at the events. Like if I'm at the SOO, I'll check with Aggie or Tim or someone like that just to double check and see if they have any different opinions on how it should play out. But basically, I just refer to the rule book and then just go through, the timing sequence and just try and suss it out myself, like how the flow of, when the abilities trigger or whatnot, and any other sort of relevant rules. Like, sometimes you look for one rule and it's in one place, but then the clarification to it is in another place, like with huge bases. The rules for bases are like separated by like 20 pages on all the different things that they are not affected by or whatever. So just more or less reading the rules. And then failing that, I check in with other people that I trust.
So I guess are there any questions coming from the boards at all? And if you're live and you've got some questions that have to do with interactions, or weird interactions you don't know the answer to, this is a good time to get the answer to.
Test Rogue Aubin was wondering if Kane can essentially steal someone's reach.
Yes.
So yeah, if they've got a 2-inch reach, he can stand at the just outside, and he gets 2-inch reach at that point.
That's just.
Is that right?
Yeah. If you can use Gunfighter to make attacks with models you're in melee with. So in melee is with either models that you are engaging or models that are engaging you. So if you're in melee, say with like a Stormclad that's 2 inches away from you, you can attack the Stormclad. But if there's another model, that's got 1-inch melee range but isn't within Kane's half-inch, like you can't attack him 2 inches away just because you're in melee with a dude with 2-inch reach, because he's not in melee with you.
Right. Okay. So we've talked about some of the weirder interactions you've had to deal with. Let's talk about probably the most common. What are the most common misunderstood interactions? The easy to deal with ones that every new player, or even hardened tournament players coming from Mark II to Mark III. What's the one that you have to deal with most often, and or a few that you've had to deal with most often?
Let's see. What's some good ones? I know that for some people with Steamroller, a lot of times, what happens if both players get the 5 scenario control points at the same time? A lot of people have sort of weird understandings of what happens beyond that point. Like some people think, oh well, because it says in here that I can't score more than 5 control points for my, like at the end of the game, that the game's over at 5. So people have things like, oh well, it's my turn, so I score first, so I would go to 5 first, so I win. Or some people think that the game ends in a tie, or like I've heard some weird explanations about what happens at that point. But things relating to what happens with dominating and contesting and things like that with Warcasters. Like if there's 2 Warcasters in a zone, what happens with that?
Right. So what does happen, by the way, if you both go to 5 points at the same time?
So if you both go to exactly 5 at the same time, the thing says if you have 5 and more control points than your opponent, the game ends. So at that point, you both go to 5, and then it goes to the other player's turn, and then you have the ability to continue. Like you keep playing. So if it goes 5-5, and then the next turn you contest their zone, but then score your own, then you go up to 6-5, and then you win.
Right. Gotcha.
In theory, if you somehow manage to go 5-5, 6-6, 7-7, it would keep going until one of you actually got higher than the other opponent. It's just in order to prevent some sort of shenanigans with players, farming control points for their control. Like there's tiebreakers later. It's capped at 5 for everybody.
Coming from the boards, Fredux wants to know one of the other things that requires a ruling is there's that 15 seconds left in the turn, 15 seconds left on your clock ruling. How does that work? So can you win with less than 15 seconds left on your clock, or do you pretty much is your game over at that point?
So the rule is that you have to activate all of your models, and that a turn cannot take less than 15 seconds. However, in the rules for Death Clock, if you would be in a position to end your turn immediately and win on scenario, you don't have to continue playing your turn.
Oh, interesting.
So regardless of if the other thing is when Death Clock expires, it says check to see if someone has won by scenario. Then, if not, then like they win by assassination, etc.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So like if I'm at 4 control points and I'm on 10 seconds left on my clock, and someone flips it over to me and expects me to lose, but by me doing nothing, I would continue dominating my own flag and then win. I would still win on scenario before the Death Clock would trigger.
Sounds like I need to send an apology out to Paul. I think he could have probably... Well, he actually did activate stuff, so he lost legitimately. But if now Paul knows... Well, he probably knew that already. Yeah. I can't really say he wouldn't. The last thing, we'll leave this with this. Friendly Troll Painter says, there's a thread about the cringiest situation or ruling you've had to deal with. What's yours?
It was WTC a couple of years ago. I was called to a table and players were playing and, he went in for an all-in assassination with Veil 2, failed, and then said, well, I guess that's the game, and shook his hand. And then one of his teammates said something to him, and he said, oh, wait, actually, no, I'm going to keep playing.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That was really awkward to sort of untangle after that.
How did that get resolved, Matt? Like, was that it, or?
Well, basically, it got resolved as, the game was over because there was a concession, but it got into this ugly, what constitutes a concession? Is this shake hands a concession? Do I have to say I concede? Like, it was just
ruling on a concession.
I'm cringing just thinking about that awkward situation.
Especially some people get really, intense about things like WTC because there's a lot, personal pride and pride, like in your country, riding on the line. So a lot of people, like even for things that don't ultimately matter, people can get really sort of amped up about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we could actually talk about this topic for like an entire podcast.
Oh God. There are too many people from our meta who listen to this podcast, so I think I have to shut my mouth.
Yeah, you have to run because most of the time the question has to do with George thinks he can do this. What's the ruling? And then somebody makes you read your card.
The problem is I'm normally the one they call over to fix it. And I'm like, I don't know shit.
I think that's probably going to stop soon.
We've all experienced that. You going, I don't know why you're looking at me.
I can make a ruling. It won't be right, but I can make a ruling.
There's a reason why I started rereading the rule books 3 times a week.
And I've made you a better player.
I know. Well, except now people look to me for the answer, and I generally get it wrong because I'm like, I don't know, and I don't want to argue, so I'll just say this.
I need to start playing somewhere else.
Come to Kingston. It's fun.
Yeah.
Make it Aggie's fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk a bit about, we've got this little event that we love a lot.
Just something to go to occasionally.
Something that, we kind of think that it made us, really. We were nothing until the SOO.
And we're still nothing
And we're
after.
still nothing after. I'm really big in my meta. I just want to... I'm not actually. I'm terrible in my meta. So the SOO, for those who don't know, is the Southern Ontario Open. It's the event that Moose Machine goes to every year and gets to stream. 3 years ago now, Matt and Tim let us kindly be their streamers.
Yeah.
And
or more to the point, I said, hey, is anybody streaming this event? It seems really big. I got my gear in the car.
Yeah. And it turned out that I think that was the year you guys had like one of the largest attendances ever for an IG and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty huge.
Definitely on the higher end for attendances like that.
And so that's really kind of made us. So the Southern Ontario Open happens what time? When does it happen this year, Matt?
It's been kind of fluctuating just because the Sheraton's a really like sort of busy hotel. Like there's a lot of businesses and weddings happening around that time, so it's been hard to lock in a consistent weekend. It's typically been late April, early May, but for 2017, it's the 5th through the 7th in May.
What's really cool about the Southern Ontario Open for those who haven't attended, and you really should attend this year if you can, we have great companies like Muson Minis that come down that actually have a table. It's one of the few times in your life that you can hook up with Tectonic Dan and Muson Minis and get stuff without having to like pay ridiculous shipping in Canada.
And meet some really nice vendors.
Yeah, you get to meet them too. One of the other cool things is you get some of the top players from all around. You get all the top Ontario players, but you'll also see beer machines usually there.
Let's not lump them into the great players section.
wasn't Don Jamaris actually there last year?
I know John Damaris was. John Damaris didn't attend because it wasn't a big enough con for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So let's start with let's hit you with the roundtable questions. How did the SOO kind of start? Tell us about the beginnings of it, and tell us a bit about this year. What's new?
All right, so I guess about almost 4 years ago now, I'd been traveling pretty extensively for War Machine. I'd been to TempleCon and Lock and Load and Gen Con and stuff. And I'd always thought that, there was enough players in Southern Ontario to justify a convention, but there wasn't really, a large sort of premier sort of event in Ontario, at least. There's a couple like cracks at it where like at Fan Expo, someone had tried to do like a Masters tournament, and that kind of fizzled because Fan Expo was like $1 million to get into, and then you don't get to actually attend Fan Expo because you're playing War Machine the entire time. And like there's been like sort of one-off events for people just try and organize a big tournament, but like the full like sort of experience of going, to a hotel for the weekend and hanging out with your best buds and guys that you don't see very often because they live across the country from you, like that kind of experience. Like there's a lot of people from the, Hamilton, Burlington, Toronto area that basically only saw each other when they went to TempleCon in Rhode Island, just because that was like sort of a pilgrimage almost to go down to TempleCon in, February and get snowed in together and drink your faces off. So I just wanted kind of to do something like that. So I started, contacting people like, Hungerford to figure out what I needed to do to organize a Masters level event, like how many players I needed to qualify as like a convention or whatever. And my original goal was that I was going to rent out the Legion in Hamilton, and then I needed to have, 64 people and 100 people total for the entire event. So my goal was that I would have my 64 people, and then I would run a side tournament like for casual players, the young bloods. And so I just, trying to scrape by with like barely 100 people. And I started offering just, I got some people involved to help organize it and rope in like their locals to try and drive down. And we ended up like sold out like the initial sort of group of people that I was trying to get involved within, a week. I'd filled out like the original 64 people. And then it kept growing and growing to the point where we needed to run 2 full days because we had more than, we needed to do 7 rounds, potentially 7 rounds with the number of players that we had in the first year. So yeah, we decided that once we had that kind of attendance, we could be, put on our big boy pants and go to a hotel for real. We went to the Sheraton Hamilton and, tried organizing some more games, putting in like card games and board games and some other stuff. Like we did High Command a few years. We did a Netrunner kind of circuit last year. We're doing a lot of Guild Ball. So we're trying to just grow into like a real like full offering kind of convention at this point, but still mainly focused on miniature gaming.
That first year was that was interesting, where everybody had to take off their hat before before they came into the building.
With the Legion Hall rules, so there was some grumbling about the rule where in a Legion Hall, if you don't remove your hat in the presence of the Queen, which includes the picture, you have to buy the entire hall around. Which, when you're talking about like 150 players, like that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it gets really expensive really quick.
Yeah.
What new events? You said Guild Ball a little bit more this year. What new events do we have to expect at the SOO this year?
So we're still going to be doing the Iron Gauntlet qualifier. We're going to be doing, the Masters, probably having to stretch over 2 days to make it the one long tournament like we prefer doing. There's going to be a team tournament overnight again, which is always popular. There's going to be Guild Ball happening, not just open play, but tournaments all weekend, culminating with sort of a Masters style Guild Ball event where we'll be running tournaments on Friday and Saturday, and then cutting for like the top people to be in the tournament on Sunday. We're going to have our board game lending library available again, where we're going to have Tim and Aggie, who both have pretty respectable board game collections, and just anyone else who wants to share their love of a certain game with us, go into like a check in a game, check out, and sort of learning from Captain Con. Our Iron Arena is now going to include play from all games at the event, so not just War Machine. The Guild Ball people aren't going to be left out. You're going to be getting points for gaming regardless of what you're playing, which is kind of cool. We're basically focusing mainly on Guild Ball and War Machine and Horde type things for the events, but we're going to support basically anything that people want to play there. And if there's a real demand for someone wants to say, I want to run this tournament, like, we're definitely open to having people run them for us, but we just don't have the expertise to run every single event, right? So it's mainly going to be a miniatures gaming convention this year.
Matt, it's a little known fact. You don't know this. We've been friends for years, but you don't know that I'm actually the world champion Go Fish player. So I'd really, I'd like to run a Go Fish tournament.
So you'd like to volunteer, is what you're telling me?
I'd like to run it and win it and be the only person playing it. Is that cool?
Well, if some Yahoo like this wants to volunteer, how do they do it?
That's a great question. We definitely have a lot of need for volunteers, especially with the setup and tear down portions, because you can never have too many people helping with that. Let's see. We have our website is wmh-soo.com. So all the information that I'm going to be giving out is on there as well. There is a volunteers section on that website that has an email address to contact us. I'm just going to try and pull that up so I'm not just rambling about all this stuff. But basically, the gist of it is get in contact with me, Tim, and Aggie, and we'll try and slot you in. Something else that we wanted to sort of mention is that we're going to be having a hobby lounge, similar to what War Machine Weekend did, where we're going to have a room. We're going to have some top caliber painters like Ben, who has Primal Poodle painting.
James Craig is going to be there. I heard that.
Nice.
And also a local person named Kaz, who also does a really fantastic job with painting. Like, he's I'm going to butcher his last name, Simulatus. He posts a lot on the Troll Blood forums, like his models. If you get a chance, check them out because they're gorgeous. Volunteers at wmhsoo.com is an email address that you can send to if you want to volunteer. We'll respond to that. And also, just if you happen to know us, then and have our contact info, then that works too.
I just want to give a shout out to the Hobby Lounge because I do know that Ben and James, and I haven't met your other the other guy from Toronto yet. Excited to meet. I'm totally excited because I love hanging out in hobby lounges. It's like my favorite thing.
You'll enjoy it.
The cool thing is they're also going to be offering classes, like basically walk in, take a
nice.
class, so normally you have to pay big bucks to go. Not big bucks. James doesn't charge that much, but to take a course from a crystal brush winner generally is a little spendy. This is an opportunity for you to for that to be part of your con experience. So that's huge. Also, I know that we're going to have a little podcast lounge type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
the Moose Machine Network. So
Woot, woot.
if you don't know about MMN, they're our sister site, and they stream 24-hour War Machine and Hordes. Also, there's a bunch of different podcasters and streamers that stream onto there. Us, Trollblood Scrum, Combo Smite, all kinds of people. Party Fouls on
all
there.
those guys.
We got the at the con too, probably. So.
Oh yeah, we'll absolutely be streaming from the con, and we're gonna try and get as many members of the MMN network into that room as possible. So we can
we're
do
hoping
meet
to
and
have.
greet, and we are definitely going to be streaming all the games that we stream online from the main hall into that room.
Yeah, so you can just hang and watch a show.
You can hang and watch, and when it gets down to those final rounds and you want to see what's happening, but you want to drink beer or you want to drink your beverage of choice, you want to yell at the screen and talk about the game without being right next to the guy and having to go
in the dog pile
and having to do the thing. And I'm going to do this. This is great audio. But what happens is you're playing your game, and two people off to the side will do this. One guy will tap the other guy on his shoulder and then point away from the table. And then two people will walk away from the table, and then they'll be, and then they'll walk back to the table, and they'll both be grinning like idiots. And you're like, what did I miss? What could I do? I have no idea what's going on.
So yeah, and also that's where a lot of the podcasters are going to be in and around. So like if Beer Machine wants to do their live cast, they'll do it from the
we're
MMN room.
We're going to have a rig set up in there.
Yep.
So if you're a podcaster and you're coming to the SOO and you would like to not have to lug all your gear, bring a USB key. We can plug it into the system and you can just do your cast.
And with awesome audio, just like this. Ooh.
Professional.
Yeah. Wait a second. So here's some questions for you. Will there be beer?
So there's going to be a full service bar on site. It's like literally down the hall. Like you can see it from where the event's being held. We haven't looked at. I mean, we're probably not going to be doing like the actual licensing where we sell alcohol there, but there's. People can obviously drink whatever they want privately, and there's the bar on site, but just for liability reasons, like we're not going to really worry about selling alcohol or whatever there.
There you go.
There are people in the building selling alcohol so that you guys don't have to.
That's right. And
also there's the LCBO that's, downstairs and just in a hallway there in
in the
Jackson Square. So
the sortilege sells out quick.
So,
The sortilege sells out like within the first 5 hours.
Get your sortilege quick.
Get your sortilege quick.
So you talked about the mall downstairs. So why don't you give us a bit of an overview? So I'm going to this event. Should I be getting a room at the hotel?
Yes, absolutely. There's not really much of a better experience than just hopping into an elevator and then going downstairs and walking out with a tray of bottles and just playing some games, or it's just the convenience level is really awesome where you don't have to lug all your stuff around, city blocks to get between events like you do at Gen Con or Lock and Load or something like that. Just the convenience of being in the hotel is really awesome.
Now,
we have a hotel block set up with the Sheraton. That information's in our venue information on the convention website as well, along with a link to the actual portal to book your room in the block.
Awesome. Now, if you've ever stayed at that building, you'll know that one of the best things about it is somebody built a mall under it.
And you can go get
which
your
is
food.
weird and amazing.
It also lets you
Yeah,
it lets you see
weird.
all the neck tattoos you've ever wanted,
yeah.
and flat brims you've ever wanted to see.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Scooter people, you'll see scooter people. It's you want to experience the best that Hamilton has to
If
offer.
you're a people watcher,
Yeah, that mall. And if you want to have breakfast with podcasters, the Moose Machine crowd, the breakfast place at about 8:30 a.m. depending on how much
it's almost always full of us.
will
and,
always be there.
10:30 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
and everybody. The secret of the universe to eating well and inexpensively is there's a grocery store in there
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the best hot food selection I have ever come
Foods
across.
of the world or something like that.
Yeah.
Paid by the
Yeah.
pound.
Yeah.
Last
Cheap and
question.
delicious.
How are you going to stop Bubba from taking all the first places this year?
Don't provide chocolate milk.
I feel like I'm just gonna take a look at whatever Bubba's been playing and then just push really hard for that to get errated.
All right, perfect. That's what. All right, that's it for the roundtable tonight. I hope to see you all at SOO.
Yeah.
If you are a regular Moose Machine listener, and
Yeah.
if you don't have a T-shirt yet, we'll have T-shirts on
will.
site. I'm going to throw this out here right now. Anybody that helps with Breakdown this year,
Yeah.
I will personally fund. Jason's going to be making some widgets.
Yep.
He's gonna be making some cool ass widgets coming up.
Yep.
I will personally fund 20 or 30 extra special. I helped close at the SOO widgets. And if
Measuring
you
stick.
help out, whatever it is, you
Yeah.
can decide whatever you want to
Okay.
make. If
Most
you help out,
expensive
just one 12-inch widget that's the most useless widget ever because nobody ever moves 12 inches. It can be 16-inch freebooter widgets.
Oh.
If you help out close up at the SOO, we'll have some widgets that we saved just for those people helping
Nice.
shut down. So Moose Machine guys, come
Yep.
help with the shutdown. We've been there for the shutdown for the last 2 years, and let me tell you, we can use more people.
Many hands make lights work.
Except nobody fits in the elevator, but we'll just leave that. We'll leave that
Yeah.
fine. All right.
The look on Matt's face. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. All right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. That last part of the evening. It's time for.
The lightning round.
It's the lightning round.
Oh.
The lightning round. All right. I somehow got to stop these guys from looking at the answers.
I've told you before, nobody can read
Nobody
your
can read my
handwriting.
doctor's handwriting. I can't even read my handwriting. It's great. All right. The lightning round is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. If you're playing at home, if you're watching the stream live, try to answer as quickly as possible. If you're not watching the stream live, why are you not watching the stream live?
Yeah, you should get on
There's
that.
so much more fun. Yeah, so yeah, if you're just try to answer them fast, and you
Yeah.
can try to see if you're smarter than us.
Yeah.
Which is
Just be good.
entirely
Not hard.
possible. I have a feeling Matt's going to kick both of your asses tonight.
I
I'm
know
just
he
going
is.
to throw that out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, question number 1: which troll caster has the feat Good Omens?
Ding dong.
Calandra.
Oh, you got to buzz in, Matt. You got to buzz in.
I was going to say Calandra.
It is Calandra. 1 point. 1 point.
Calandra.
All right.
Make a buzzing noise. Bubba does a ding dong. Which
You might
is
have
what
to
I
hold
was
your hand up
cribbing.
too, Matt, just because sometimes Skype cuts you out. So
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out to see who goes first. Question number 2: what does the Effigy of Valor's roadblock ability do?
And
Matt.
provides cover as if it were an obstruction.
I'm going to give you half a point because there very specifically says to friendly models, and that's
To friendly models.
That's
Fair.
important. That's super important because that is something that's actually come up recently. All right, question number 3. What is the magic ability stat on a Northkin Shaman?
Ooh.
I'm going to have to give that to you, PG.
I'm about to make the sound.
I was going to say 7.
It is 6.
Oh, it's only
it's
6.
only 6.
Damn it. I knew that.
All right, question number 4. This one specifically for you.
All right.
You ready for it?
Yes.
What is Acosta's mat?
Oh.
You
Base
got-
mat? Base mat? 9.
Oh, I'm
Dang.
gonna have to give it to I gotta give it to Matt. Matt, go.
It's 9.
It is 9. You guys
Fucking
are
Mary.
terrible
You
at
said it
buzzing
was-
in.
you said
No,
it was
but
for
you
me
had you still had
specifically.
to buzz in.
Oh, I didn't know
Goddamn
that.
Mary
God
Sue.
damn it!
You didn't read me the rest of the card.
All right, Which,
What does the rest of the card say? Read
I
it
was-
again.
Don't forget to buzz in.
I was waiting for you to say 11, just because you're so used to me
No.
having
It's
having
9.
All right,
Too
what
fucking high.
What 2 spells can a Legion Beast Mistress cast? Blah. What are her 2 spells?
Oh, fuck. Nobody.
We're all doing that. Nobody uses Beast
Nobody
Mistress.
uses the Beast Mistress.
I'm going to go with the ant on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to say a shitty nuke and some kind of thing that makes beasts slightly better.
Flank.
I know one's Rain of
Flank is
Blood.
not a
Oh.
spell.
You guys.
At least pick a spell like Fury or something.
No, God, she doesn't have Furies. People would use her.
No,
Oh,
okay.
that's
it's,
true.
It's Blood Rain and Energizer.
Right.
Blood Rain and Energizer. Question number 6. Name Kane 3's 2 new companions. Matt.
It is Watt and Ryan.
It is Watt and Ryan.
I was going to say, so which one's dead?
Shh. Spoiler alert. If you have, everybody should know by now. Question number 7. How many Fury does a feral warp wolf have? What's his Fury stat? Go.
None if he's gone feral.
Oh, for crying out loud. Anybody want to answer that for serious?
What was the question?
How many Fury does
What's
a
the Fury stat on a
feral
warp-
warp wolf? What's the Fury stat? Go.
4.
It's 4. I get him 1 point. I'm going to give you 5 points tonight.
Thank you.
Just because
Because
I feel like I got gypped earlier with
Yeah,
the,
you got
with the
gypped.
Acosta question.
you got gypped. Okay, question number 8. What is Helena's rank? Oh, I'm going to have to give it to...
Magister.
Wow. Holy shit.
you knew something.
What the...
Yeah.
Were you reading the book?
No,
How did you know that?
I don't know.
Did you read... You read the...
Is it her title on the card?
It's in her title on the card.
That's amazing, dude.
Wow.
Wow. Your mom's watching. I'm trying to help you out here. All right, question number 9.
We're trying to be impressed.
Baal, the Hound of Everblight, can be attached to...
Wow.
Hex
Whoa.
Hunters.
Heck, Jesus Christ. The winner this evening by a landslide is I shouldn't have given you that 5 points.
We got one more.
We have one more question. It's the Minty Fresh question of the week.
Minty Fresh question.
You can redeem yourself by answering the Minty Fresh question because it's worth 9 points tonight.
That's a new amount.
So here we go. It's a random amount. I'm
I
not gonna
know.
lie. The points don't matter. Question number 10. The Minty Fresh question of the week. What is the name of the stronghold at the center of Trollkin territory on the Alchier subcontinent?
Damn it.
The worst part is Matt thinks he actually knows. This is
I just read the command book like yesterday.
what is the name of the stronghold?
I have an answer.
What janky answer?
No. Creelholm.
It's not Creelholm.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good. That was actually like a good go.
That's why I said I have an answer, not I have a...
Matt.
Tolok Fortress or something like that.
He did it.
Matt
It's
just-
Tolok Fortress.
Matt just won the game. It was incredible.
So close.
It was almost Maelstrom. It is Tolok Fortress. That
Wow.
I think that goes down in history as maybe the second time the Minty Fresh question has been answered.
Yeah, I answered it once because I had just happened to
Wow.
read that part. But
wow.
Damn it, Matt.
Maelstrom
That
is
was my one
thwarted
chance
again.
for the whole year.
I'm still amazed at the whole Magister thing.
Yeah, that was good, man.
That was awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to give us some shout-outs to the sponsors because they make this whole thing happen. First off, if you are shopping locally or if you're shopping online, go check out thewizardstower.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a member of the OGWC, you get a great deduction. You basically get the taxes taken off.
Yeah. it's nice.
Go get your miniatures from there. They carry a full stock. I know that Muson Minis is going to be at the SOO this year. They honestly make the difference between 500 viewers and 2,000 viewers for us. So
Yeah, when we put the podcast up.
if you want the best tokens in the business, Muson Minis, they're the people. They're awesome, and they support local cons. They go to they support everybody, and John
And they drive everywhere with that big old trailer full of stuff.
Yep. Yep, and
The
check.
process.
Last but not least, I want to thank the guys from Crooked Mile who have been listening to the podcast. Even they're adding to our numbers, and providing our beer.
Some amazing beer.
Did you like the beer this evening?
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It is definitely an IPA.
I think it might be my favorite so far.
Oh,
Ooh.
what caster would you pair this with?
I would. Oh, come on, which
Madrak.
caster? No, it's dude. Come on, you gotta go. You gotta go with like, well, maybe Madrak. Madrak 3.
Yes, Madrak 3.
Well, I was going to say Magic 2 because it just kills everything.
Like all the pain in my brain cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Last but not least, don't forget that if you like Moose Machine and you want to get the best feet token in the business, go to our Facebook page, check out our store. You can get our T-shirts there.
Yep.
You can get our feet tokens there. I guarantee.
Don't forget our leggings.
And don't forget the leggings. I guarantee that if you wear those leggings,
To Sue. Wear them to Sue.
you will win your first game.
Because your opponent will be either, I've seen our listeners, so retching in a corner,
Yeah.
hiding their eyes so they can't see the models.
Yeah,
Hey, our listeners are beautiful.
yeah.
Have another beer.
All right. It's delicious.
It is delicious.
I want to thank Matt for showing up tonight. Matt,
Yeah.
it's been awesome having you on Newcast. You are welcome anytime, sir. We need
Yes,
to
for
do
sure.
we need to do a cast with Matt where we just talk about like judging interactions.
I'll have to study up a little bit more then.
Well, the chat was really into it. I think that would actually go over really well.
Yeah.
It was
So-
awesome. So we'll promise everybody that we will get Matt back. Well,
Yeah.
we're at the SOO.
We should get a couple of our judge friends, because we're lucky enough to know a couple of them, to build us a fake judge test that we have to take
Ooh.
on the cast. They
That
give
would
it
be
to
amazing.
us.
So maybe
A
what we
reverse
do.
lightning round thing?
You know, it'd
Yeah.
be amazing if we got Matt and Tim and Aggie all on the cast at the same time, and they reverse the lightning round
Yeah,
on
the,
us.
the problem with that is if we had all three of them on the cast at once, it would just become a knowledge black hole and just
Yeah,
and
that-
the cast would disappear.
Yeah, and we would look like idiots.
Well, we already
As
look
long
like
as-
idiots.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sorry, Matt. What was that?
So as long as Travis survives, the game will be okay.
Perfect. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it for an evening. Thank you for joining us for the death clock.
Now say Troll Blood Scrum.
Troll Blood Scrum is up
Yeah,
next.
there you go.
Everybody, dice down.
Dice down! Moose Machine and This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes is a proud part of the Muse on Minis network. Podcasts go online every Thursday morning. You can watch the show live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and keep in touch with us on our Facebook page. Just Google Moose Machine. If you can't find us, you're doing the internet wrong.
All right, it's Tim.
Matt.
Thanks, Matt. That was awesome.
He looks
Bye,
nothing
Matt.
like Tim.
I know.
Have a good night, guys.
You too, Matt. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
That was great. I thank you for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thanks,
Hang out
folks.
for that Troll Blood Scrum.
Coming up
Troll Blood Scrum.
only 45 minutes from now because we went over the death clock.
Ooh. Yeah, we did, but that was a good. I
It was
think
worth it.
We
You
covered
wanna
some good
You want
stuff.
to pop up Twitch and export that for me?
Work.
You're
All you
sitting
do
in
is
front
work,
of the machine
work,
and
work.
and it's actually open. Oh
All you
no,
do
that's the
is
Una. That's the. I think I've got some primer on this Una. Now the if you haven't stopped streaming,
I haven't.
Nope.
You should stop streaming because there's nothing to export.
All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
that's
you,
good night
everybody.
from all of us.
See you
Have
next
a good
week,
night.
guys.
Night.
See you next week.
Bye. Bye.